Welcome to the Miles Per Hour Auto channel with miles and miles of auto information available to you. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My Borla muffler came in the mail today. So we're going to show you how to turn your Scion TC's exhaust note from this to this. Alright, this is the stock muffler right here. Now before you remove it, you want to soak the bolts. Well, here are the bolts. These were the bolts that were on it. And now what I recommend is, if you know you're going to be doing it, or at least, taking it off, excuse me, like, the following day or something, I would recommend to let these bolts, soak in WD-40 before removing them, because as you can see, this one was very rusted. I mean, because it was on the top here. Luckily, with the stock exhaust, the nuts are welded on, so you don't have to have like a special ratchet to hold it in place to take it off. All you have to do is ratchet it, but if these are rusted on, it's not fun. The bottom one came off, no problem. I mean, it wasn't nearly as bad. The top one, that's another story. This is, you can see the top threads here they're covered in rust, baked on. These hooks here, it's going to be attached to some rubber hooks. It attaches here, and then it attaches to a hook that's mounted on the car to hold it in place. Of course, be careful when taking it off, although you could apply a lot of force pulling it off. Of course, I would recommend putting WD-40 in that as well, just so it slides a little bit better. Also, getting the top bolt off, I should mention, you should use a 14 millimeter, both the top and bottom. Forgot to mention that, but you'll need that in order to get these bolts off. And on the top, there's a little bit of a pocket. I will show you once I get outside to my car. It's a little bit of a pocket in terms of fitting a wrench, to tighten and to loosen, which you can use that to your advantage when taking it off. There'll be a lot of banging, since it's in a tight area, but that's the best place, because otherwise you put like a million different extensions, or if you use a super long, like breaker bar or whatnot, it's not going to fit. It's not going to move. You're not going to get anything off. So that's why I recommended that you soak these overnight if you have a day that you're going to do it, or even just a few hours. Because I was trying to put it on in the afternoon. Me and my friend Raul, he's bigger. My friend, he's bigger than I am, and he couldn't even get it off. So it was pretty stuck on good. But anywho, we emptied a can of WD-40 on it. We both work at the same place, so we went to work, completed our shift, came back, and just, then there was just enough force, it finally came off. And then we assembled the exhaust. So, but now let's just show you what the new exhaust will look like on the car. Alright, so here's the muffler after it's installed. Has a nice chrome tip that's actually real, not like the factory one that's fake. Alright, it's actually cool to touch. I let it sit for a little bit, of course. You don't want to ever touch a hot exhaust after you ran it. There's the rubber mounts I was talking about. You can pull those off pretty easy now. Where's that pocket I was talking about? Yeah, that pocket is up in here in terms of getting that one bolt off in the very top. This bottom one's no problem, but you get new hardware when you get this exhaust. You get 17mm bolts. You get the nut, the washer, and the bolt, of course. And you actually mount it in this direction as opposed to, you know, the other way. Also, another thing to note, this exhaust is in two pieces. And this, right here, it is very important that you have it mounted the way that's currently mounted on this car. Otherwise, you're going to have an issue that I had where it was hissing. And luckily, I basically got, you know, all those little noises out, and I was able to do it here. But yeah, you'll definitely probably be banging on this a lot. This is heat shield. Oops, excuse me. And yeah, just banging up on a bunch of stuff. I may or may not change the mid pipes. That is kind of that's debatable at this point. But especially since there's that bracket underneath, I'd have to lift up the car, have it at like one of those places where I lift it up. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. But yeah, let's go for a ride. Inside this car, with this exhaust on, you definitely, I don't know if the camera could pick this up, but you can definitely feel like a rumble with this car. I mean, it had it from the factory, but it is much greatly amplified with this muffler. And it's deeper, it's a bit louder too. In fact, let me turn this radio off here for a minute. Go for a little ride. There you go. You might be able to hear it now. Maybe I can roll down the window a little bit. Did not realize I had my e-brake on. That's why that weird noise was being made. The beauty of this exhaust, you get something a little louder. You know, it's not going to be, you know, you're not going to get in trouble with the cops with it. It's not going to sound like a ricer. But it just sounds good. Maybe I can demonstrate it on this road here. You'll definitely hear it at higher RPMs, the difference. I'd say around 3,500 RPMs, you definitely notice the difference. horsepower gains, I don't think there's horsepower gains out of this. You're just simply changing the exhaust note. If there is any, I do not feel that. That's not the whole point of me buying it. I wanted a, you know, a deeper, richer tone to my exhaust note, and I think I achieved that. That's a Mustang. I was thinking for future videos, having viewers send in, you know, their cars, you know, showing off their vehicles that I can select on every other week. But I'd have to find somebody. You know, I'd actually have subscribers. But hey. Yeah, he modded his exhaust too. Although his, I believe, we probably had a catback, mid pipes. Probably don't even have, you know, cat. It probably don't even have, you know, a header with a cat on it. So it may not even be running, you know, up to emissions. You'd probably fail if that was Houston. Although who knows? He probably put the J spacer in it. Or not the J, yeah, it's a J spacer. Basically, that's what I would have to do if I wanted to put my muffler, or at least my mid pipes in, because then I'd be getting rid of a secondary cat. And like I said, I noticed there's a bracket underneath that I'd have to remove, although that itself wouldn't be difficult. So we'll see. I mean, I could get one for 245 bucks. Although I'm debating if I really want to do that, but we'll see. And that was this week's video, guys. I'm sorry it did come a little late. I had a medical emergency this week. I have a 7mm kidney stone that I need to have removed, and I'm going to have it removed next Thursday. So next week's video is either going to be uploaded Wednesday or Friday. I'm not quite certain yet, but stay tuned in case, you know, if it comes out either one of those days. If you haven't already, hit like and subscribe, and tell all your friends and family about this channel. This has been the Miles Per Hour Auto Channel. Have a good night, everyone.